Alright y'all, if you've ever driven a North Georgia road and thought to yourself, dang man, this would be perfect on two wheels, well, you're not alone. Today I'm taking you through 10 must-ride motorcycle routes right here in North Georgia. And I'm not talking tourist brochure stuff. These are roads I've ridden, loved, and sometimes cussed in the best way possible. And I've got one bonus route at the end that's kind of the boss battle of all of them. Have you ever ridden a road so good that you just want to turn around and ride it again right away just to make sure it really happened? Yeah, North Georgia has got a bunch of those. And here's the crazy part. Most folks only know about a couple of them, the one or two really famous ones. Meanwhile, some of the best roads in the state, in the whole country if we're being honest, are tucked away right there in plain sight. So today, I'm going to take you with me. Helmet cam on, throttle twisting, as we ride through 10 North Georgia motorcycle routes that you have got to ride at least once. Some of these you've definitely heard of and some you haven't. But every single one of them's got the perfect mix of curves, scenery, and soul. And like I said, I saved one for the end that's kind of like the boss battle of all of them. So let's hit the road. Alright, first one on the list's a little sleeper pick, but one near and dear to my heart because it's a very short distance from my front door. And that's Mount Olivet Loop. Now look, this isn't one of those routes you see splashed all over Instagram with drone shots and moto influencers posing in front of their bikes. This one's local, laid back, and kind of feels like one of Georgia's best kept secrets. What I love about Mount Olivet is how distant it feels while still being right in the thick of it all. Like a little pocket of peace right outside the city. No tourist traps, no big groups roaring past, just you, the road, and countryside peace. You're riding through woods, past farms, and old barns that look like they're hanging on by a single rusty nail. And those curves? Well, they're not super technical, but they've got just enough roll and lean to make it fun without wearing you out. And they make you absolutely forget that, remarkably, somehow, you're still right outside Metro Atlanta. It's got a bit of history to it as well, which you can check out in our full ride of this route. And a stretch we love to call Luke's drag strip. Honestly, sometimes I'll hit this one when I don't want to think. Throw it in third, lean back, and let the landscape do the talking. If you're newer to riding or getting your confidence up, this loop's a great confidence builder. You get those low-speed sweepers without having to deal with the steep grades or blind switchbacks. The road surface is mostly good throughout. Just keep an eye out for the occasional gravel or sandy patch near unpaved driveways. And pro tip, ride it during golden hour when the light filtering through the trees makes you feel like you're in a movie. A really good one. Mount Olivet might not be the longest or twistiest ride on this list, but if you're looking for a peaceful loop with heart and soul, right outside of Atlanta, this one delivers every time. Alright, now here's another one where if you're anywhere near Atlanta and you need a quick hit of that out in nature feeling, Red Top Mountain Loop is your move. This one's close enough to the city that you don't have to spend half the day just getting to the good part. But once you're in it, it feels like you're hours away from the chaos. You loop right through Red Top Mountain State Park, and let me tell you, it's got the classic Pine and Lake vibe going strong. You've got that perfect blend of tree-lined roads with little slivers of Lake Allatoona popping in and out of view as you ride. It's peaceful, but never boring. And there's an iconic bridge ride across the lake right as you come into the state park. The curves here are light and wide, ideal if you're on a heavier cruiser or just looking to relax and enjoy the scenery. Think big, easy sweepers with clean pavement. Nothing too gnarly, which means it's perfect for two-up riding or bringing along a buddy who's not quite a knee dragger just yet. You can detour off into the park itself, ride along the lakefront roads, or even stop off at the visitor center or the little beach area. If you're into camping, there's also a few sites worth checking out here. Bring a tent, and boom, you've got yourself a moto camping weekend. It may feel far off, but you're close to the city, so traffic can build up a little on weekends, especially near the park entrance. So if you want that free-flowing magic, aim for weekday mornings or just before sunset. Red Top Mountain Loop is what I call a reset button ride. It's easy to get to, easy to love, and it's one of those rides where you're not racing, you're just rolling. Alright, let's talk about a route that really surprised me the first time I rode it, and that's Fairmont Loop. This one doesn't get a lot of hype online, but once you've hit it, you'll get why I'm including it here. It's a mix of everything North Georgia riding does really well. Wide open straights, gentle hills, historic towns, and just enough curves to make your throttle hand happy. So, per the name, the route runs up through Fairmont to Jasper, then to Tate, then it loops back down SR 108 towards Waleska and Satali. And that stretch down SR 108, that's your highlight reel right there. SR 108 to Tate and back is another highly rated road that just happens to be part of this loop. So you're getting a twofer. Beautiful flow, smooth pavement, elevation changes that feel like a gentle roller coaster, and almost zero stoplights slowing you down. There are plenty of places along the way that have that super chill small town vibe if you happen to need to stop for gas or snack or a quick lunch. And plenty of parking even if you're riding in a group. The only real drawback is it takes about an hour to get to from the metro area. Fairmont Loop is one of those routes that it sneaks up on you. It doesn't scream for attention, but once you've ridden it, you'll find yourself going back. Smooth, scenic, and seriously satisfying. We're switching it up a bit for this one. Cloudland Canyon State Park. Now this isn't just a nice ride. This one's a full-on experience. Tucked away in northeast Georgia, about 30 minutes south of Chattanooga, Tennessee. You gotta make a bit of a journey to get there, but man, it is so worth it. We actually hit this one on our way back from Lookout Mountain. The ride in alone feels like a teaser trailer for what's coming. You're climbing gently up through foothills, passing through these little blink and you miss 'em towns, and then suddenly, boom, you're riding along the edge of a canyon that looks like it belongs in the Rockies, not Georgia. What makes this route special isn't the curves, though there are some tasty ones. It's the destination. Cloudland Canyon's got these huge sweeping views that drop out beneath you. There's hiking, camping, even a waterfall if you feel like parking the bike and stretching your legs. And yes, it's paved all the way in. No gravel surprises like some parks love to throw at you. Now, if you time it right, like early spring or late fall, the temps are perfect. The crowds are light and the views, absolutely stunning. Plus, being so close to Tennessee and Alabama state lines, you can build this into a bigger loop if you want. Maybe hit Lookout Mountain, or even cruise over into Alabama for the day. It's super flexible. And if you've got saddlebags or gear with you, there are picnic areas and overlooks where you can chill for a bit. I mean, let's be honest. If you're not pulling over in here and getting off to see all the views, you're doing it wrong. Cloudland Canyon is one of those places that makes you stop and go, wait a minute, this is in Georgia? It's a little off the beaten path, but that's what makes it gold. If you like your rides with a side of jaw-dropping scenery, put this one near the top of your list. Now we're getting into the widely famous stuff up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Time to talk about one that needs no introduction, but it still deserves a proper one anyway. Six Gap. If you ride in Georgia, you've heard of this route. If you've done it, you probably still think about it. And if you haven't, well, get ready to make some time because this ride is the heavyweight champion of North Georgia. You can kick this one off from any number of places, but usually either Dahlonega or Helen, which is a quaint little town modeled after a German village that's a motorcycle destination unto itself. But that's a video for another day. Either way, you're in for a loop of 6 legit mountain gaps, hence the name. It covers some of the highest elevation roads in the state, and you're going to feel every single one of those in your throttle hand, your brake fingers, and probably your glutes by the end of it. This isn't just about curves, it's about intensity. We're talking hundreds of turns, rapid elevation changes, off-camber corners, tight hairpins, and stunning mountain views all packed into one ride. You'll ride through places like Wolfpin Gap, Hogpin Gap, and Neal's Gap, and each one has its own flavor. It's like the tapas menu of Georgia motorcycling, except everything is spicy. And yes, for my sport bike friends, this is where y'all come to play. But don't let that scare off the cruisers either. I've done 6 Gap on a bagger, and while it'll keep you busy, it's totally doable if you ride smart and stay aware. There's also the Such-a Loop baked into this ride, which we'll get to in a minute, but that's the part often called Georgia's Dragon. You'll know it when you hit it. Twisty's so tight your arms will start to feel like cooked spaghetti, and you're grinning through it the whole way. My best advice? Pace yourself. This isn't a race. Start early, especially on weekends, because this area gets packed with other riders, bicyclists, and the occasionally overconfident tourist in a rented Camaro. Keep your eyes up and ride your line. This is one of those rides that's not about blasting through, it's about soaking it all in. 6 Gap isn't just a ride, it's a rite of passage. It's the road people ask you about when they find out you ride in Georgia, and when you finish it, you feel like you earned something. Okay, now after you've wrestled the beast that is Six Gap, let me introduce you to its chiller but still awesome cousin, the Richard Russell Scenic Park Loop. This route actually makes up the right-hand half of the Six Gap Loop, because so many routes are bits and pieces of other routes, but it totally stands on its own as a destination ride. First off, the name doesn't lie. It's scenic. You're cutting through dense forests, rolling up and down ridge lines, and hitting elevations that'll give you views for miles. There are plenty of places to pull off and catch your breath or snap a photo, and trust me, you'll want to. Especially early in the morning when the mist is still hanging over the treetops, it's straight up postcard stuff. The pavement here is solid. You'll get nice wide turns, long flowing sections, and just enough twisties to keep it interesting without turning it into a core workout. If some parts of Six Gap had you white knuckling it, Richard Russell is where you come to loosen up again. And if you're the kind of rider that appreciates those smooth, meditative lean angles, this road's a dream. The rolling corners feel natural, like the road was laid down specifically for motorcycles. And if you're feeling ambitious, you can actually use this loop as your launching pad to head up to Brasstown Bald, the highest point in Georgia. We'll get to that in another route, but just know that if you see a turnoff for it while you're out here, it's worth taking. Traffic's usually light on this one, especially during the week. Just keep your eyes peeled for wildlife. This is bear and deer territory, and maybe a few bicyclists doing the climb. Be respectful, give them space, and everyone gets home happy. Alright, if Richard Russell was the calm exhale, the Suchess Loop is the adrenaline-packed inhale. This one's known as Georgia's Dragon, and for a good reason. If you like your roads twisty, technical, and just the right amount of risky, buckle up. Or zip up your jacket. This loop makes up the left side of Six Gap Ride, and it's pure curve heaven. You're looking at switchbacks, tight radius turns, sudden elevation drops, and a rhythm that keeps you locked in. It's almost hypnotic once you hit your groove. Lean left, lean right, roll on, roll off, repeat. Now, if you're used to riding long sweepers, this one might catch you off guard at first. It's more aggressive, more technical, and demands your attention. This isn't a one-handed, drink your coffee while cruising kind of route. It's hands-on, eyes up, bike whispering all the way through. The scenery's great, with trees closing in around the road and occasional peaks out over the mountainsides. But honestly, you're not looking at the views much. You're laser focused on the next apex. And if you're doing it right, you're grinning like an idiot the whole time. Pro tip, stop by Two Wheels of Suchess. It's like the unofficial pit stop for North Georgia bikers. Grab a snack, stretch your legs, and chat with other riders who just got their faces blown off by that same stretch of twisties. The Suchess Loop is a rite of passage for North Georgia riders. It's sharp and addictively satisfying. If you love leaning hard and testing your line precision, this one's got your name written all over it. Now we're hitting a stretch that's not just legendary in Georgia, it's one of the most talked about pieces of road in the whole Southeast. This is the Blood Mountain Run. It's the right leg of the Suchess Loop, part of US 129, and it's where you come to feel alive. You're climbing hard here, ripping up to Neal's Gap, one of the highest drivable points in the state. The turns are tight, elevations changing constantly, and the road snakes around the edge of the mountain like someone built it out of pure chaos and dared us to ride it. It's short, yeah, but it's intense. You get into a rhythm and then bam, hairpin. You're not just riding, you're working. Now, here's the cool part. Once you hit the top, you're at Neal's Gap, which is not just a biker stop, it's a historic one. You've got the old stone building of Mountain Crossings, which the Appalachian Trail literally passes through, like hikers walk straight through it. There's a parking lot where bikers, hikers, and road trippers all come together, usually looking equally sweaty. And this is the kickoff point where the sport bike crowd runs up and down Blood Mountain like they're trying to make pole position. Oh, and don't be surprised if you run into out-of-state riders here. This stretch of 129 draws in folks from Tennessee, Alabama, the Carolinas, and destination riders from all over the country. You've probably seen it in other content creators' videos. It's that kind of road. The one people hear about and make a trip just to say they rode it. Word of caution though, it gets very busy on weekends. If you like your corners tight and your lanes wide open, come early or ride it midweek. And keep an eye out for those sport bike riders blasting through hot. It's a known run for fast movers. Ride your ride and let the crotch rockets do their thing. Blood Mountain is one of those roads that feels like it was designed to test you, but in the best way. It's technical, it's beautiful, it's historic, and it's unforgettable. When you hit that last turn and roll into the Overlook, you don't just feel like you finished a ride, you feel like you conquered something. Alright, time to elevate, literally. This next route is the Russell-Brasstown National Scenic Byway, and it's not just one of the prettiest roads in Georgia, it actually takes you to the highest point in the whole state. We're talking Brasstown Bald, 4,784 feet up. If you like your rides with some altitude and attitude, this is the one. What makes this route special is that it's kind of like a greatest hits compilation. It weaves through parts of the Richard Russell Scenic Loop, dips back into Six Gap territory, and then ties it all together with some of the most jaw-dropping views you'll get on two wheels in the southeast. This is that helmet visor up, take a deep breath kind of ride. The road surface is solid, well maintained, not too much traffic if you time it right, and the turns have this really nice flow. You've got long sweepers that let you lean deep and smooth, and a few tighter switchbacks to keep you sharp. It's not overly aggressive, so you can ride it a little more relaxed while still having fun. And the big payoff? That's the turn off to Brasstown Bald. There's a parking lot up there where you can stash the bike and then either hike or shuttle to the top. And trust me, you want to get to the top. From up there, on a clear day, you can see 4 different states and take in that blue haze that gives the mountains their name. It feels like the edge of the world. And if you're doing this in the fall, be prepared for the awe-inspiring beauty of nature. The colors are unreal. Reds, oranges, deep yellows, all wrapping around the ridges like someone set the forest on fire. But in a good way. This is one of those rides where you'll wish you had a 360 cam just to catch every angle. And pro tip, bring a hoodie or layer up, even in summer. The elevation changes mean the temp can drop fast, especially once the sun starts dipping behind the mountains. And fuel up before you head up, because stations can be scarce once you're up in these ridges. The Russell-Brasstown Byway is more than just a road. It's an experience. It's where you go when you want the ride to be the destination. From the smooth climb to the killer overlooks to standing on the actual rooftop of Georgia, this one's pretty unforgettable. Alright gang, last official route on the list, and it's a doozy. This is the Cohutta Overlook Loop. It's a full day kind of ride that strings together some of North Georgia's best roads, scenic spots, and small town gems. If you want that feeling of riding through a postcard while still getting in some real seat time, this one's for you. So here's the layout. You're starting around Dahlonega, working your way up through LJ, over to Fort Mountain State Park as you curve through the Cohutta Wilderness, and eventually riding up through Blue Ridge before coming back down good old Highway 60. Now let's talk about vibes, because this route shifts. You start out in gentle hills, then it gets more rugged as you climb towards Fort Mountain. That section's tight and twisty with killer overlooks and a real sense that you're deep in the woods. The kind of road where you pull off just to sit and listen to how quiet it is. The actual Cohutta Overlook is a strange hidden trek to get to, and you might just miss it if you're not paying attention. But it's worth the short hike to the top. And as a special bonus, as you're sliding through great little towns like LJ and Blue Ridge, there are great spots for lunch, coffee, or just to stretch your knees. It's touristy, but charming. And there's bike parking right near the downtown strip, so you can chill for a bit before jumping back on the bike. And then, Highway 60. If you've never ridden it, you're in for a treat. This road rips. Flowing turns, perfect camber, very little traffic, another road that just feels like it was designed for motorcycles. You'll forget what a straight line even looks like. And another pro tip here, while you're on this loop, do not skip the stop at Amicalola Falls. It's one of Georgia's best natural landmarks, and it's literally right off the route. Park, take the short hike up, and catch that waterfall thundering down the rock face. It's a solid reminder that, yeah, this state has way more to offer than just city streets and flatlands. And it would be almost criminal for me not to mention the stretch from Fort Smith to Chatsworth here. And honestly, I don't even know what to call it, because we just stumbled onto it. This stretch has become a sport biker's paradise, like the lesser cousin of Blood Mountain Run, where the adventurous riders literally set up shop from this graffitied overlook and run laps up and down the mountainside. This whole loop's long, but it's not brutal. Probably a good 4 to 6 hours, depending on how often you stop. And trust me, you'll want to stop. Scenic turnouts, picnic areas, there's photo ops everywhere. This one's made for riders who aren't in a rush. Cohutta Overlook Loop is kind of the everything bagel of North Georgia rides. Forest, mountains, waterfalls, tight curves, flowing sweepers, and even a few great towns to kick your boots off in. It's a full day journey, and every mile is worth it. So we've covered 10 amazing routes already, but I couldn't end this list without dropping the mic on one last monster. It's long, it's legendary, it's brutal, and it's beautiful. It's called the Gauntlet. Now, the Gauntlet isn't just a road, it's a full-blown experience. 133 miles of back-to-back mountain curves through the North Georgia Highlands, and it has pieces and parts from a lot of the rides we've already talked about, all strung together in one massive loop around the Blue Ridge Mountains. This thing snakes through places like Helen, Blairsville, Hiawassee, and Clayton. It's basically a greatest hits album of mountain riding, all packed into one massive loop. Now, 133 miles may not sound like a lot, but this is all mountain riding where you can expect relatively slow speeds and 3 to 4 hours of non-stop riding. You can kick off from Misty Mountain Inn and Cottages near Suches. That's kind of the unofficial launching pad. From there, you're carving through the Chattahoochee National Forest, hitting steep climbs, tight corners, and these moments where the trees open up just enough to show you views that'll have you pulling over whether you plan to or not. Now let's be real. This route is not for the casual Sunday rider. As we said, it's 4 hours non-stop if you're hustling. But realistically, probably more like 6 with all the scenic stops, fuel breaks, photo ops, and maybe a roadside coffee if your throttle hand needs a rest. But that's the thing, this ride shouldn't be rushed. It's meant to be taken in chunks. You hit a killer stretch, pull off at a scenic overlook or a local barbecue joint, catch your breath, and then you dive back into the madness. It's the kind of ride where you get lost in the moments and suddenly realize you hadn't checked your phone in hours. And last pro tip here, map this one out ahead of time or use a GPX file with a good nav app. It's easy to miss a turn and end up in Alabama wondering where the hell the mountains went. And gas up every chance you get. There are some long stretches with not much more than trees and banjos. Yeah, Deliverance was filmed in North Georgia. It's just a fact. I'm not really proud of it. The Gauntlet is the kind of ride you tell stories about. It's the ride you prep for, the ride you invite your friends to and warn them about beforehand. And when you're done, exhausted, bug splattered, and grinning from ear to ear, it's the kind of ride that makes you remember exactly why you fell in love with riding in the first place. It may be an honorable mention on this list, but out on the road, it's an absolute legend. Alright, that's 10 killer North Georgia motorcycle routes, gang. Plus the Gauntlet, which honestly could have been its own dang video. Every one of these roads has its own personality. Some are peaceful and scenic, others are technical and wild, and a few, well, they just straight up beat you up in the best possible way. If you're from Georgia, hopefully I gave you a few new ones to add to your list. And if you're not, let this be your sign. It's time to load up, grab your riding buddies, and come see what these roads are all about. North Georgia seriously does not get enough credit for how prime the riding is out here. Now you tell me, did I miss one of your favorites? Got a hidden gem we should ride next? Drop it in the comments, because we're always chasing that next great road. And if you've done any of these, let me know which one's your go-to. In the meantime, ride hard, stay salty, and never underestimate a road just because it doesn't have a cool nickname. Yet.